Right then everyone, welcome along to our Leagues 1 and 2 preview show today. This is on a Thursday, ahead of two Friday night matches, and so we're going to build into this nice and early. Obviously our Championship preview will come out tomorrow as well, and we've got some, looking at the fixtures, we've got some fantastic Leagues 1, 2 and Championship derbies. One big derby across each of the three divisions that we're going to explain about, we're going to have a good chat about, we're going to run through all the Leagues 1 and 2 fixtures and really get into the nitty gritty of this. So we're going to start off with the Friday match in League 1. And it's a huge spectacle. It's AFC Wimbledon versus MK Dons. Now, I don't need to explain the rivalry between these two clubs. It's there to explain itself. And if you don't know, I'd suggest you go and Google it and you'll find out. It's absolutely huge for AFC Wimbledon. This is probably their cup final of the season. They absolutely can't stand MK Dons. Obviously, MK Dons took their club, moved it to MK Dons, and then rebranded. So they're basically a franchise club with very little identity, really. But looking at AFC Wimbledon, they picked up a very good win on Saturday against Blackburn. A very hard place to go, really. Ewood Park's a huge ground, and they've done well to get a good result there. Hoping it can kick-start their season. They wanted to build confidence going into this particular fixture against an MK Dons side who are doing quite well themselves. Had a good win against Rochdale on Saturday 3-2. And it's going to be a tight game, really. Whether or not MK Dons can adapt to a tough atmosphere, it's going to be a hard environment down at the Cherry Reds Record Stadium. It's a small, compact ground. The fans are going to be on MK Dons' back straight from the start. And Wimbledon are just going to make it hostile. They're going to get behind the team in front of a big crowd. They're going to fill the stadium up quite well. And I do think Wimbledon will go on and win this game. I think they'll be up for it more. They'll be fired up. They'll want to win this game, and I think they're going to win it quite comfortably, 2-0. I think. It's going to kick off our Saturday games with Bristol Rovers at home to Blackpool. I look at Bristol Rovers, and they're struggling this year. There's no doubt about that. They're finding it hard. After a good season last year, Darryl Clark's side, they're struggling. I've said many times before in the videos about the set-piece troubles they've had. And they're going to come against a good Blackpool side who are full of confidence. I mean, they've made a quite comfortable transition from Leagues 2 to 1. And had a good win Saturday as well, 3-1 against Oxford, which is a very good win against a promotion top 6 potential side. And I do think that when you get momentum in this division, it's very hard to stop. It's like a freight train. You build it up, you build it up, you build it up, you steamroll. And I do think Blackpool will go on and win this game 2-1. I think that when you get momentum, as I said, it's very hard to stop. And I think Bristol Rovers will come unstuck against a very good Blackpool side who are made some very shrewd investments, and they're really starting to produce and replicate some good form that got them up last year. And I think they'll go on to make another win and stake their early claim for a playoff place. Let's go into this game 3. We've got Charlton versus Bury. Obviously, Charlton back-to-back defeats in the past week. Home to Wigan, 3-0 defeat, and followed by a Saturday 1-0 defeat to Gillingham. Against a Bury side who haven't done too well this year either. A 0-0 at home against Plymouth on Saturday, which they could have looked at and maybe tried to win that fixture. And I think they will come up short here. They've obviously struggled for goals and they struggled defensively. And I think Charlton would just be a perfect time for them to get another win under their belts and keep their decent home form going and really try and kick up the table. So I think I'm going to go over Charlton 2, Bury 0. Going to the next game, it's Fleetwood at home at Southend. Obviously Fleetwood had a massive defeat, 4-1 against Portsmouth over the last weekend. Come as a bit of a shock, really. I thought they'd go up there and get a decent result, maybe even a draw, against a Southend side who drew 2-2 after coming back from 2 down against Northampton. And that's probably the character that Southend fans haven't seen this season, and it's definitely a right step in the right direction. They've not started too well this year, but coming back from 2 goals behind to come against a very good Northampton side and get a point, that's a definitely sign of improvement. But I think they will just come narrowly unstuck here. I think Fleetwood will go back to winning ways. I'm a big fan of Uwe Rosler and the work he does, and I think it'll be a 3-1 win to Fleetwood. Let's go into the next game. It's Northampton versus Bradford. Another tantalising fixture on our hands here. Both sides looking very solid so far, obviously. Northampton a draw at Roots on Saturday, followed by Hasselbank's first defeat up at Wigan in midweek. And Bradford as well beat Rotherham 1-0, a team who's in form going into that game, and they've come from they dispatched them 1-0. This will be a tough game. I think there'll be a good few goals. I think Northampton like to play a lot under Hasselbank. They play an expansive way, ball back to front very nicely. They play a 3 midfield and a nice attack system as well. Against the Bradford side who will be very organised. They're going to be tough nut to crack. And they've got some fantastic players. But I think there'll be a 1-1 draw in this game. I think that'll be a fair reflection of my prediction here. I think both sides will look to try and progress. Obviously Northampton look to bounce back, but I think be plenty of quality from both sides, but I think it'll be a draw. So going to the next game, we've got Oxford versus Walsall. Oxford had a stumble against Blackpool on Saturday, obviously losing 3-1 there. It was unexpected. And look at Walsall, 1-1 draw against Peterborough. It's not a bad result against a free-scoring side who've proved no problems in finding the back of the net this year, but I do think they struggle this year. and struggle Saturday as well. I think it'll be a comfortable win for Oxford, who I think will bounce back to winning ways and try and kick-start their season again. They've had a good bit of home form as well, and I think they'll go and win 3-1. Let's go into the next game. It's Peterborough versus Wigan. Peterborough, as I said, just underneath Walsall there, a solid point on the road at Walsall. They could have already won the game. And they're going to come against a tough Wigan side here of just finding this transition from Championship to League One again quite good. They're picking up good results. Gavin Massey's finding form, he's scoring goals. And I do look at this, I think Wigan will go on again and win this game. Just for the fact they're in such good form at the moment, they've got a very good side. Paul Cook's done fantastically well since coming in. I think it'll be an away win, 3-1. Let's go into the next game, it's Plymouth versus Doncaster. This will be a huge game really for Plymouth because they've not started too well. They're down at the bottom of the table, around that area. And they could do with a win here against the Doncaster side, who lost 1-0 at Scunthorpe on Sunday. So both teams will look for a win. Whether or not Plymouth can get that win, I'm not too sure. I think this will be a draw. It'll be quite a cagey affair, I think, for Plymouth. They'll be quite nervous in front of their home fans, especially if they go a goal down. And I do think it'll be another 0-0 draw for them. Let's go into the next game. It's Rochdale versus Gillingham. Obviously, Rochdale had defeat up at MK Don Saturday 3-2. It was quite unlucky for them. They got back into the game on a couple of occasions, but just couldn't seal that point defensively. Against the Gillingham side, who got a very good win against Charlton on Saturday. It's definitely what they wanted at home as well. Tom Eaves getting his 4th goal of the season. He looks a good signing from Yeovil. He's proven that League 2 to 1 transition is good. And I do think I do like Gillingham, but I think I do fancy them for the win here, I think, to be honest. I think they've got a good group down there. Not a bad group. The manager's questionable, but they've got some good players. And I think Rochdale here, they need to kick-start their season if they want to mount another promotion push. Slow starts in previous years have really hampered them getting anywhere near that top 6. And I think they'll just fractionally come and start keying a 2-1 close run fair affair. Let's go into the next game. It's Rotherham versus Oldham. I do like Rotherham. I've said before, they look very good. They score plenty of goals, create plenty of chances. And against an Oldham side who've not had the rub of the green in recent games, they've got their first win of the season under their belts. But I do think they'll come unstuck against Rotherham, who at home do score lots of goals at home. They've got good players there. Lee Frecklinton's in great form at the moment for them. Obviously, Kiefer Moore, he worked his socks off up front for them, playing as a lone striker at the moment. John Taylor's scoring goals as well for them. And obviously Oldham were without Owen Doyle as well. He's suspended. And I do think they'll come unstuck here. I think Rotherham will score another few goals. I think it'll be 3-1 to Rotherham in this game. Let's go into the next game, penultimate game of the weekend in League One. It's Scunthorpe versus Pompey. Obviously Scunthorpe, a good win at Doncaster. They needed that. Lee Novak scoring his first goal after his summer arrival from Charlton Athletic. Obviously Pompey had a very solid win as well at home against the promotion rival in Fleetwood. Obviously Brett Pittman scoring goals for them. He was always going to score goals in my opinion. He shouldn't be in League One, but he's looking very solid against the Scunthorpe side, and it's going to be quite a tough game really. I think Pompey will win this game just for the fact they've got plenty of options up front. I think it'll be another narrow game, and I think it'll be 2-1 to Portsmouth. Let's go into our last game in League One. We've got Shrewsbury versus Blackburn. Obviously Shrewsbury in flying form at the moment, no defeats this season. About 6 points clear at the top of League One, I think it is. I'm not too sure about that. Against a Blackburn side who slipped up against Wimbledon. Not surprising really. I think they've had that inconsistency at home this year. They're losing games at home they should be winning. Obviously Tony Mowbray's questioned his players at the start of the year, saying they can't just turn up and expect to win, which is a fair point. I mean, in this league there's no divine right to be where you are. It's a performance-based industry, and you've really got to try and pick up results to get up the table. But I do think if Shrewsbury were to lose a game, it would be against a Blackburn side who've got plenty of quality, and it can really test this Shrewsbury side. And I do think Blackburn will derail the Shrewsbury freight train, and I'm going to go over Blackburn 2, Shrewsbury 1. So we roll to League 2, and there's a Friday night game in League 2, which is live on TV as well. Forest Green Rovers versus Swindon. It's a derby game, if I'm correct. Obviously, Forest Green Rovers do need to win. They picked up a not bad point for them really on the road at Port Vale. That was an early relegation scrap, but they do need to start converting some of these points into wins. Defensively, they leak a lot of goals, and they don't really score a lot. Obviously, Christian Deutsch, he's replicating his National League form. He scored a hatful of goals last year in the National League for them, and he's shown that he can step up and come into the Football League and replicate that form. Obviously Swindon are doing very well at the moment. First home win in the season Saturday, which they definitely needed. They're on a good bit of form at the moment, and I do fancy them to go and win this game. I do like David Flitcroft and what he's doing down there. It's taking time to get his message across, but he's getting it across, and they're getting some good results. So I think they're going to go and win this game 2-0. Okay, so going to the first Saturday game, we've got Accrington Stanley versus Cheltenham. This will be a tight game really. Cheltenham got a good win Saturday as well against the Colchester United side, who went down to 10 men. And I think potentially that could be the victory that really kick-starts their season. Accrington Stanley as well got a good result up at Chesterfield Saturday, a 2-1 win there. And I think this will be a very entertaining game, really, from the neutral perspective. I think there'll be plenty of goals. I'm going to go for 2-2 draw. Let's go on to the next game. Barnet versus Crawley. Obviously, I do fancy Barnet to win this game. I think should kill Call first, and then going forward, they look a very good unit. I do look at Crawley, Harry Kewell. It's a tough club to go into for your first managerial stint, as I said before. They'll be down that bottom half of the table this year. The recent run of form's average really for this division, and I think they're going to come up against a free-scoring Barnet side who are very good at home as well, and I think they're going to come unstuck in this game. A 3-1 win to Barnet. Let's go into our next game. It's Colchester United versus Wycombe. Obviously, Colchester slipped up at Cheltenham Saturday. Bit unexpected, really. Going to Cheltenham, they probably looked at that and thought they should have won the game. Obviously, Wycombe on Saturday, late, unlucky up really against Luton side who scored 2 late goals and basically did a hit, smash and grab really. Obviously, I think Wycombe will bounce back to winning ways here. I like the way Gareth Ainsworth's got his side down there. It was unfortunate on Saturday. They kind of switched off on Saturday, let 2 late goals in. And Colchester really need to kick-start their season. They come close to the playoffs last year, but I think it'll be a tough game for them. And I think Colchester will lose 2-1. So on to our next game. It's Coventry at home to Exeter. Obviously, Coventry were unlucky not to get a point up at Cambridge Saturday. David Falls for Cambridge United made a catalogue of saves. Coventry had a basket full of chances to go and win the game. Exeter, they're proving that their player Fudu's not doing them any problem. They won again Saturday as well. Then I think they could be a really main contender for the title this year. They're looking like a solid outfit. And I do think that Coventry will. It'll be a tight game. Both sides have got a lot of quality, really. And it's hard to see where this is going to go. But I do think, in my opinion, I think Exeter will go to the Rico and get a win, just for the fact they're in such great form at the moment and they're not fearing anybody. But it'll be a very tight game. I think there'll be 1 goal in this game. So it'll be Exeter 1, Coventry 0. So on to our next game, it's Crewe at home to Carlisle. Obviously, Crewe got a very good result. And Crewe actually, sorry, my apologies. They're struggling for form really at the moment. And obviously Carlisle as well struggling. Obviously Keith Cole's come out and said some very flamboyant words in his press conferences at the moment. And it's going to be a tight game. I think there'll be a draw in this game, to be honest. I don't think there'll be many goals. And I think there'll be a 0-0 draw. So going to the next game. Luton versus Chesterfield. Obviously Chesterfield are managerless. Gary Caldwell's been sacked. They're looking for a new manager. And obviously Luton smash and grab last week against a very good Wycombe side. And I do fancy Luton to go and carry on that form against a managerless side who are struggling. And I think they're going to win 2-0. So the next game is Mansfield at home to Cambridge United. Obviously, Mansfield are doing what they are expected to do, go and win these League 2 games and really march on for the title. Cambridge United, a very good win on Saturday against Coventry. Another tight game, and I do fancy Cambridge to go and get a point up there. I think David Fall's in great form. He made some outstanding, unorthodox type of saves, though, if I do say so. And I do think Mansfield will come unstuck against a very powerful, direct team in Cambridge who've got a very good strike force. They've got plenty of depth, they've got a good tenacity about them, a good spirit. But Mansfield as well, they're doing quite well, but I do think it'll be a 2-2 draw in this game. Mansfield are a bit leaky at the back, they do score goals, but I think there'll be plenty of goals in this game. So the next game is Newport versus Grimsby. I do fancy Newport to go and win this game, I think. They're doing quite well under Mike Flynn this year. He's come in last year, kept them up magically, and they're transferring that late season form early on into the season against the Grimsby side who are struggling. I think they picked up a win Saturday, if I'm correct. They've made some astute signings. Jamil Matt, Martin Walford have come in on loans and permanent deals as well. But I do think they'll struggle against the Newport side, who are doing really well at the moment. They've got a lovely new pitch down at Rodney Parade. They spent lots of time resurfacing that after last year's rugby pitch scenario. And I do fancy them to get another win. So going to the next game, it's Notts County versus Lincoln. This will be a good game. Lincoln have apparently sold out over 4,500 tickets to go up to Notts County. This will be a tight game. Notts County a tip for promotion. They're doing very well at the moment under Kevin Nolan. I think they got a good result Saturday. Obviously, George Grant, he's doing well on loan doing well on loan. Obviously, he's come from local rivals Nottingham Forest, and he's transitioned well into the midfield. And I think Lincoln will have a big vocal backing, and I think they might just come up short in this game. I think Notts County 2, Lincoln 1. So our penultimate game of this video is Stevenage versus Morecambe. I look at this and I think Stevenage have got enough to go and get a win. Obviously, 3-2 defeat on the road at Swindon against the Morecambe side who will be looking to start this year. Jim Bentley's doing a good job down there again, but I think that's going to come unstuck. So I'm going to go with Stevenage 2, Morecambe 0. And our final game is a relegation scrap really. It's Yeovil versus Port Vale, managerless Port Vale. Michael Brown's obviously come out of the club, he's been removed from his managerial post, and they're going to be struggling this year, I think. There's major problems at the club. It's happened since the start, beginning of the League One. They appointed the manager, they sacked halfway through. Obviously, Michael Brown was questionable about whether he should have been appointed. Apparently, people in the hierarchy weren't confident about appointing him, which showed there's a dispute already between the board and the fans. And the Oval are struggling this year as well. I think they'll be down in that bottom relegation scrap. I think this will be a 0-0 draw. I don't think both teams will offer much going forward. They'll both want to try and get something to consolidate, although both teams do need to win, so it'll be a 0-0 draw. That's my Leagues 1 and 2 preview. So thanks for watching. Our Championship preview will be out tomorrow. Go and follow us on the EFL_zone on Instagram. We've got plenty going on that. Also, and thanks for watching, guys, and like and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.